3, 2, 1. Welcome, Vince. Thanks for being here on the circuit. We're plugged in today with Vince Turner. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, Vince, first things first, I always ask, what started you in this? What started you to be able to do what you're doing currently?
What got me into music?
What got you into it?
What got me into music?
What got you into it? Why are you doing what you're doing, basically?
Oh, here we go. And in terms of what got me into it, I was a bit later than some people playing guitar.
Right.
I was like
When did you start?
15, 16
Okay.
sort of thing, and it's like a mix of Guitar Hero, Beatles rock band.
Guitar Hero is so
Yeah,
good.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. We're similar age, aren't we? So you remember
Yeah.
Guitar Hero,
So
Dragon
good.
Force.
Rock band was so good.
Yeah,
Underrated.
so I had Beatles rock band, and I had the full.
The whole set.
Yeah, I had the drum kit. I had
Drums.
the Hofner looking
Yeah,
bass.
yeah. And the
bass.
mic, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
And I couldn't sing at all at the time. So, some would say I still can't. But no, like, and I think it was just at that age as well. You sort of you picture like the crowd, and you're on this big arena or something.
Yeah.
And I think just
So
some people have dreams that are like realistic, and then there's just me like I want to be a rock star.
Yeah.
and apparently it's stuck. So
It's stuck, but
I mean, my philosophy now is a bit different, but. Yeah, dare
What's
I say
your philosophy now?
philosophy now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's trying to articulate, I think, isn't it? Like, I have fun with it. You know, like literally the other day I was talking to someone who was an accountant, and I said, "Oh, you got a good job. Like, that's quite a well paying." And they're like, "Yeah, but there's not a lot of fun in my life." And I'm like, "Oh, I've got the other. I've got no money, but at least I'm enjoying myself." You know.
I think that was a big part of upcoming musicians. Is like I was saying to my last guest about touring the country, making things work for you. What works for you?
Yeah.
And yeah, you might be skiing, but at least you're enjoying what you're enjoying, you know?
Yeah, I think I've said to myself as well, because this is a great way as well, because I'm actually quite introverted, like in everyday life, but this is a great way for me to meet people, like us right now, you know, build relationships.
Exactly.
And I kind of trust that if I just keep working at it, and if I have music that's good, and I can perform it well, then the rewards will come later on.
Yeah,
and that's kind of, so I think hopefully it'll be worthwhile this period, where it's like difficult, eventually things will kind of pan out.
Fine. And you talk about your music. If I was a newcomer to Vince Turner music, what would you describe your sound as?
How to describe the sound? It's evolved a bit over time, but I think now I've really settled into this kind of like Britpop kind of sound. Definitely a kind of mix of like sort of mid-90s and mid-2000s, and kind of like sort of putting those two together.
Yeah, have you got any influences from that kind of era?
Ooh, a lot of people have said my song "Right on the Wall" sounds like Pulp.
Oh yeah.
And then I've got a new song named "Spirit of London," which is very much going for a kind of Stereophonics, Manic Street Preachers kind of vibe.
I love the
So,
yeah, I can see that as well when it comes across. I mean, talking about your songs, like I know you've got a bit of a, not obscure, but like a different way of like creating music. You've got people that have commented on your stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you've then created songs.
That's
from
been
it.
a lot of fun.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. So I was just using things like Instagram and TikTok to promote my songs. You know, it's like, right on the wall, I should know better, things like that. And out of nowhere, it was one of my followers actually, because at first I wasn't trying to gauge it, but he just said, "Vince, I'd love you to write a song about the Irish famine." And it's just like, what?
Bit of obscure.
And
obscure
I
thing
think
about
it is a bit of an odd one. No, I just replied to it saying, "Are you Irish yourself?"
Yeah.
Sort of check to see if this is like a troll or something.
Right,
And
yeah.
it turned out this guy had like read a book or something about it,
Right.
and I think he'd heard lots of folk songs about the Irish famine, but he had never heard like an indie or a kind of
Okay,
rock song.
fair
Because what do? I write a folk song,
Of course,
folk song.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
a folk song. So. But I think that kind of subject matter kind of works with that kind of vibe. But I surprisingly enjoyed doing that. And then someone came along wanting a song about the 7/7 bombings.
Yeah, like you said, a really tricky subject.
It is a tricky subject matter. I mean, the Irish famine's a tricky subject, especially being English. But I guess after doing the Irish famine, I felt a bit more confident. Like, there wasn't a huge backlash of just like angry Irish people like, "What are you doing?" Maybe that's to come, you know.
Maybe, yeah, who knows? Yeah, we'll wait and see how today goes.
But no, it was a really interesting challenge, that like trying to create something that was sort of accurate to what happened, but also sensitive.
Yeah.
And I think I got the balance right, and like people have enjoyed the song. Like I'm at a point now where I've actually played it live and stuff like that, and people seem to really dig it. So.
Well, you played it live in London recently, right? Yeah. So you went. Tell us about your. How many? That you've done quite a few gigs, or like this year, or tell us about the the gigs you've done this year.
Okay, sure. Okay, we're in January.
Yeah,
right? So
sorry,
I've done
year,
there's a place called the Mayor of Scaredy Cat Town, which is really interesting.
Oh.
It's like there's a cafe basically, and just from the surface, it's just a fridge door. But you go in there and you say, "I'd like to speak to the mayor," or "I'd like to see the mayor," even.
Right.
And they open this fridge door. And it turns out just to be the entrance
Amazing.
to like this secret underground bar.
That's so cool.
I remember when the promoter offered it to me, I was just like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then of course this is how sellout I am. Like, I can make some content out of this, and then that kind of pushed me to actually accept the gig and be like, yeah. And also, it's just because the first London gig went really well. I was really, really happy with that night. You know, people actually came down, and the vibe was really good. It was really nice talking to some of the people as well that came, and so I knew I wanted to come back to London at some point anyway. So and that just seemed like a fun, and it was a really fun night as well.
Yeah, it looked great on your Instagram and stuff. So
Thank you.
It looked really cool, and people obviously you can like gauge and obtain new followers maybe from like playing at these different events, like not local events to you, which I think is good as well. So even if you're going out your way to get a tube up to London and your time and stuff, it makes it's good for you as your music. Isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess there's two sides to that. Like, obviously the gig itself, it's it's great to perform.
Yeah.
Like any artist should just, if they can, should perform.
Yeah.
But and you can build those relationships, which is awesome. Especially like I just sort of accept because I'm at this low level. Like I'm just playing like pub venues and stuff at the moment. It is just like I think that side of it's really important. Like actually meeting the fans and being like, I'm a normal guy. You know?
Yeah, fun.
But also, I guess like another way I extract value from playing those gigs is by being active on social media and making those videos. So it's really fun. You know, I think I'm at a point now where I sort of think to myself, how am I gonna it's not like looking for the story, but you sort of reflect on it afterwards and you think, oh, what were like the highlight moments and how would that make like a good video? Because then what you find is people on Instagram will see that and it's like, oh, he seems cool, and then you sort of get so you build the relationships in the venues and then you can actually gain sort of social media followers and stuff through making
which I think
content
is so
about it.
important for live music, because you can get sometimes if you just listen to something on Spotify, for example, you don't meet the people, you don't meet what they're
There's
trying to do.
definitely something very anonymous as well at streaming. Like sometimes you'll just stick a play like your Daily Mix 1 or something and it'll just come up and you could listen to like 5 songs and have absolutely no idea what they are and you listen to them and they just go on.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's important. It's an important part of live music, especially like where we are streaming platforms all everywhere. Going to live music, I think, is always going to be a big part for, especially like up and coming musicians. And then so talking about that, I mean, when you writing these songs, have you got like, tell us about your songwriting journey or like your songwriting approach. How do you approach when you start a song? Is it just you start the chords or do you start with like a verse or?
Yeah, no, Spirit London, I know that one was one that started with the chords and obviously I had the topic. It took me a while to really figure out like the hooks and the melodies and stuff like that. But most of the time it would be the other way around because there's definitely a thing I have where if I have a guitar riff, for example, it'll kind of like I'll record it on my phone and then it just kind of sits there and I just won't have that melody or I won't have that lyric or whatever it is. If I have a melody or a lyric first, I find the music comes easier.
I see. Okay,
so a lot of the songs that get finished, it's usually there's a melodic idea, whether it be the verse, whether it be the chorus. There's something there that's come, and then in terms of finishing stuff, a lot of the times I kind of work out like I'll have sometimes there's something I've experienced or there's a topic I'm writing about and it's like, how do I explore that? And then there's other times where I've just got a line or maybe a couple of lines and then I'm thinking, well, hang on, what does that mean? And then once you've kind of worked out the story behind that or worked out, you know, what the theme, whatever it is, that helps me kind of finish the idea.
Fun. And actually that's the songwriting. And apart from what I like is your tell us about your look.
Oh, the look.
Look at you right now. You got your skate, got your trilby, like how did that come about?
I was before doing this, what I do now, I was in a band named The Alamo. Right. And again, another local band, you know, sort of in Hastings. And there was just I was playing guitar in that band and then we had a singer named Grant who was awesome. And I think one day he was around my house and we were like just talking about what the imagery of the band should be. And I maybe wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have. So I go to the hat and I go to the wardrobe and I pull out this hat, which I just had for some reason. And I put it on as a joke. Yeah, Blues Brothers style, yeah. And he's literally just there like, you should wear that. Fine. And I think, obviously the Alamo kind of disbanded and that didn't go on, but I think I don't know, there's a sort of, it was quite a significant part of my life and helped make me who I am. Like having those people around me that supported what I did, that believed in me, like as a guitar player and as a musician. So it's nice to kind of, I guess it's almost like a tribute to that in a way. And yeah, I like having this. The other thing is, let's be honest, it's a kind of recognisable persona.
I agree. I can't picture you now without a hat. I mean, who are you? When I don't see you without a hat. Who is this guy? But you know, it's just, I think it's interesting. Having a distinct style of music and a distinct setup of apparel as well is quite a big factor for recognising.
So just to jump in, because obviously I'm doing like indie rock and then dressed the way I am. I've had people ask if I make like jazz music, if I do like Frank Sinatra, like crooner. I've had people ask if I do ska. It's just sort of like, so there is a question of whether they marry up perfectly, but
you put your own style.
I think I can make it work.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. No one questions what Chapel Roan looks like or something like that. So I think if you just commit to it, I think people will just kind of accept it for what it is.
Perfect. And talking about that, what is the best, do you think, I mean, you're probably going to say London, but what's the best recent gig you've done last year?
That's an interesting one. I mean, like, definitely if we're talking on this sort of local level, I still think my best is yet to come, actually. I definitely, no, I mean, like, in terms of, I do think over the last couple of years there has been a huge increase just in my performance ability and musicianship. I mean, we'll start from somewhere, and I think definitely when I first started, I thought I was great, and maybe I wasn't, and that's been a real learning curve. But no, I remember like in St Leonard's there's a venue called Oscars, and I did something there that I basically organised myself, and that was probably right at the start of, again, this kind of version of me, if that makes sense. So I'd had Right on the Wall by that point. And that I remember was a really fun gig with like a really good vibe, a good number of people, and that felt like the start of something.
Nice. See, that's nice. That's a good memory.
Yeah, I think, and you mentioned London. Yeah, I've done 2 gigs so far in London, and both of them I think have been really good.
Yeah, fine. And have you got always ask this, have you got a worst gig that you've played that you think, that could have gone better?
Okay, so my goodness, this is like 10 years ago now. So this was like really early on, like me just kind of coming out with my guitar. Like I didn't look like this or anything. Couldn't sing to save my life. But there's a pub in near Priory Meadows, so in Hastings, called the Clarence, and my dad knows the landlord there. So I sort of went in there one day and I asked him if I could play one evening, and we sorted out this date and everything. And sorted out a couple of other performers I could play with, and then there was no one there, basically. So I was there, like I even put like a poster in my staff room at work, and like trying to message people on Facebook and stuff like that. And I played to my parents and like one of my friends, basically, and then some of the like drunk regulars, at the back. It was a really, really depressing night.
I think it's a learning curve as well, isn't it? These things that you come out of it and go, maybe next time I could do X, Y, Z sort of thing. It's just, I think behind the scenes, people that you look at these artists and what those so well, but there will be times that things don't go as planned.
One thing I really like actually, Ed Sheeran's really open about times that he's played gigs and there's been no one there, or he's travelled a really long way and it's just not been worth his time and things like that.
And you don't hear about that, do you?
I appreciate like not every artist is that open about their journey.
Exactly. That's something interesting.
And I get it, like you kind of want to hide, don't you? The sort of show the best parts and hide some of the worst. But we all have those experiences.
It shapes you though, doesn't it? I think as a musician, like no matter what the experience is, it feeds into what you're trying to do. So tell us about where is your next gig, Vince? Where are you playing next? Okay,
so we're currently here at Tough Love Records, and I'm going to be playing in a bit, which I'm looking forward to.
Fantastic.
And then so I will be back in London.
Brilliant.
Because I think by the time this comes out, it will be announced, hopefully. But I can talk about it, casually. There's a really interesting one. It's with the same promoter that my last couple of London gigs have been with. Over in like Canary Wharf area. The venue's called Theatre Ship.
Cool.
As far as I understand, it's like a disused ship or something that they've converted into like a theatre venue.
Cool.
And there's a bunch of us playing, and I've got my sort of allocated like number of people that I need to bring out to the gig. But I think that's going to be a really I don't know all the details yet, but the way they made it sound is they're going to pair me up with another performer and we kind of do a song each as we go. Okay. And it's supposed to be this kind of intimate vibe. So,
well, we can look out for that on your socials.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting.
What's the best Instagram to get you on then?
Vincent Turner's Curious Notes.
Vincent Turner's Curious Notes on Instagram.
Instagram,
He'll be
yeah.
on
It's
the
the same.
Yep,
It's the same on TikTok and
same
YouTube
on TikTok,
as well,
same on YouTube. Check him out on the circuit as well. But yeah, I mean, the last question I tend to ask is: have you got a local band or a local musician that you think deserves a shout out?
So I'm from Hastings area.
That deserves a shout out.
Yeah, sure. So I happen to know that you've done this with Tellums. He's awesome, to be fair. Like I met him about a month ago probably, and we immediately kind of got on.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't mind me mentioning this. The whole Tough Love gig was my idea. Okay. Yeah. No, because I really wanted to do something with Tellums. We have the similar kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I'll just rattle off a couple really quickly. K Iris is really killing it.
Yeah.
I know that's someone that you've had on the circuit.
Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to someone named Matt Turpin. He's a DJ at Hastings Rock Radio, and he's played a couple of my songs now.
Yeah, I bet that.
And you know, despite living in Hastings and stuff, I've had a hard time kind of getting into that sort of Hastings scene or that clique, dare I say.
Fine.
I'm really thankful that he's actually played a couple of my songs, and it just gives me that little bit of exposure.
Fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant. Well, Vince, thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome.
Really great for your time, and look forward to seeing you at your next gig.
Thank you.